We on the cusp, we going up, we elevate, yesterday. We on the cusp, we on the cusp, we on the cusp, we on the cusp. Look at us now, we running town.
Hey, what's going on, good people? You know who it is and what it be. This is Rob P, and we are on the cusp of growth, on the cusp of progression, on the cusp of evolution. On this podcast, we like to find leaders, local leaders here in Northwest Ohio that are pillars in their industries and helping the people live their best lives. And today, we have none other than the Honorable Sonia Flunder McNair, President and CEO of Sonia Organics, a mogul when it comes
excited to be here.
Community health, a mogul when it comes to helping people live their best lives through health, through holistic living.
Yes.
So tell us, we were having a conversation before I pressed that record button, really trying to break down, and it's very intricate. She's from Toledo. We'll talk about all that, but let's get straight into it right now. Sonia Organics.
Yes.
Tell us, how did it start, and how did you get to where you are? Briefly, we can break it down.
Briefly, I'm going to do this as briefly as I can.
Yeah.
And before I start, I want to thank you for having me on. I started Sonia Organics by the request of community. It was an entity that was based around my lifestyle.
Yes.
And the person that actually thought that it should be a business pursued me for, I want to say, almost a whole year.
Wow.
We met at Starbucks, we met at different places, and this person was, reputable. And, I was like, but I don't want to do this. This is my life.
Right.
It's not a business.
Right.
Just because I grow food and I make my own products, I'm thinking everybody does this.
No.
And so June 8th of 2017, Will Lucas helped me incorporate Sonia Organics.
Wow.
He allowed me to string him on for a whole year until he convinced me that this is something that's needed for Toledo community and beyond. Yeah. I wanted to give that small intro of the business because the business has been sustained by community, just like I was told.
Absolutely.
In 2020, it was a huge year for the business. Holistic medicine and naturopathic practices was really huge when it came down to helping people deal with COVID and COVID symptoms.
Yes.
So plant medicine and formulating medicine from plants was something that I was able to teach. I started off into a small setting of growing herbs alongside food, not just food, but herbs is one of my main components of my business. And so from 2017, Sonia Organics was created. In 2019, Urban Wholistics was created.
Wholistics.
Yes.
Urban Wholistics. So you mistake me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we met when I was looking for someone who had sage. I was looking for someone in Toledo that had sage. I need some sage for the crib. I had just moved into a new crib. I want the sage in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know any stores, but I know we have this lady here in Toledo that grows her own herbs, that has products, and sure enough,
and not the traditional kitchen culinary sage. It's your white sage.
Yeah.
That is good for cleansing and the respiratory. Yes. So that is how we met. I remember too. Yeah. You got a good memory, right?
Pulled up to the crib. She got and actually I paid her some cash, but she had it on the porch ready for me. So I appreciate that. But that just goes to show, you're here for the people. Mm-hmm. You have what the people need. And so Sonia Organics, and then you have Urban Wholistics. Tell us a little bit about Urban Wholistics.
So in 2019, Urban Wholistics was incorporated. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was created to revitalize open spaces within the inner city community that has been historically excluded from holistic spaces. So, you know how you feel when you drive into a space that's not so beautiful.
Yeah.
Just think about living in a space that's not so beautiful.
That's real.
So I understood that my business needed green spaces to survive, because if you grow your raw ingredients on your own ingredients to formulate products, you need spaces. I really didn't in the beginning feel that I would go into farming, because that's what my business has transitioned into. But we all grow.
Absolutely.
And so I grew into creating farms for the community, because I felt that to sustain the community, to sustain uh, life in the community, that we have to have park-like settings. We have to have food within the community. We shouldn't have to drive away from our homes to go across the street and sit somewhere that may attract bees, that may attract butterflies, because that's something we don't see anymore.
That's real.
You know, Rob, you used to see butterflies when you was a kid.
That's real. Hey, save the bees.
So if you don't see butterflies and bees anymore, you should be either planning or leaving. And so I decided not to leave. You know, when you become successful, that's the first thing you are taught to do.
Yeah.
You leave. So my goal was to stick around and to teach the community how to fish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, something similar to myself is like, I've received my real estate license. I got it in Columbus, but I immediately moved back because I see there's a need. At that time, there wasn't anyone that looked like me in the real estate game in my generation that looked like me, locks, beard, tall.
Yep.
So there was a need, and I think the measure of an entrepreneur is how can they find a need and create a solution.
Yes.
And the beauty of your business is that it's philanthropic in the sense that it's a community need. And like you said, the community has sustained you.
Yes.
So farming. Did you see yourself being a farmer on a scale? Because you already grew your own.
No. And I'm 52. I'm almost 52. I'll be 52 this year. So I'm claiming this year already that I'm gonna make it to my birthday. But I did not think that I would be working as hard as I work 10 hours a day, every day, Saturdays plus Sundays, in my 50s.
Oof.
But I feel like I'm 30. Of course, you have this concept of how your life is going to be when you age. And of course, it's on a beach drinking mimosas, something like that.
Right.
But I was called to do something else.
Absolutely.
I had a hard time answering that calling because it was unorthodox. It wasn't popular. Mm-hmm. And everybody looked at me kind of side-eyed at first, like, what are you doing? There isn't even any programs that exist to sustain urban agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to decide either to stack my money in the bank,
right,
or to take that money and utilize it to build the organization for community.
Absolutely.
So I'll say that again. My profits have went into Urban Wholistics year after year to sustain the organization. Every day I ask myself, how did I get here? And then I just keep moving, because I don't even know how it progressed to this point. But I know it's divine. So I know I'm going to just keep answering the call.
It's divine.
So I get up every day and I work constantly. I make products. I answer calls. I give personal consultations. I meet like this. I have interviews like this. Every day is nonstop. I am the admin for both businesses. And so to be able to sustain myself has been has been phenomenal. So I would say that I do wish that we were in a better position as far as our community and the outlook for beautification, dollars to go into the inner city communities. We did have Senator Hudson that reached out to us a few years ago that saw the work,
Yes.
that didn't sit back and say, that's so great. And she sat down with me and others that were doing the work for months and months and months and months. And she asked us questions, and she asked us what were some of the barriers that we encountered with trying to build urban farms within the city.
Yes.
We ended up with somebody that really, really cared. And so you have people that teach you that politicians are people that don't care, don't deal with them. And so we had Senator Paula Hicks Hudson that came out, not only talked to me, but numerous times came out and talked to the kids. Because the kids is what's most important in this whole operation.
Absolutely.
From her conversation, from her calling me, telling me, get up here, I would drive up to Columbus and I would talk to the House of Representatives and I would tell them why it's important that Lucas County is recognized for urban agriculture. Even if I'm the only woman in Lucas County yelling that we need to have food as the forefront of wellness, it was important for me. So with all of that work, House Bill 111 was created by Senator Hudson.
Wow.
We're proud poster children of that bill. It's called Youth Farmers Initiative. And what this initiative is, it funds the operations of youth farms that are in the city, not rural, but city urban farms that are not only teaching youth farmers, but are teaching product formulation.
Entrepreneurship.
The entrepreneurship.
Yeah. It's a lot to unpack there.
It's a lot.
That's a lot to unpack. So I think what you just touched on is the power of advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
You live in these communities, again, you see what's needed and you're putting in the work. But I mean, the beauty of being an American is that we have the opportunity to pursue what we want to pursue. And so, but you're pursuing something that makes this a better place to live.
Mm-hmm.
So why not advocate? Because there's a lot of money that's going out that the government writes checks for.
Yes.
Why not advocate to bring some of those resources to our neighborhoods?
Yes.
And so, but it takes electing people like Paula Hicks Hudson, electing people like Erica White that know our communities, that care about our communities, so that they can advocate for us in the State House.
Yes.
That's
very important.
That's powerful.
And so that's why the education starts with our kids and our youth. Because if they are taught as soon as they can eat how important it is to be land stewards, to care about your community,
Mm-hmm.
and not only to care about your community, but to take an open space and make it profitable. This is a model for any city.
A model.
Yes.
You're a trailblazer. Creating a model that can be duplicated.
I just received that We Do Award, Trailblazer Award.
From who?
From Women of Toledo.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I didn't know that you received that award.
Yes.
But you are. You're literally a trailblazer. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
There's nobody doing this. There's nobody like, it's unorthodox.
Yes.
It's unorthodox. I may be the only person down in Columbus speaking it,
Mm-hmm.
but guess what? It starts with you, but then the people see the mission, people find passion in it,
Yes.
and the voice grows, and it grows.
And what you said is what the whole focus for me was, to empower others. When you are riding through our inner city community or any other inner city community, you will find some of the complexes or the stores or the spaces that you go to shop are not Black owned
Mm-hmm.
or not locally owned. And so to take that dollar every time we get it and have to,
That's
and it goes out of your community quick.
Yeah.
And so I teach the kids, that's why it's so beautiful over here, because that's where we go and take all of our money.
That's real.
We even have different behavior when we go out the way where it's beautiful. We don't throw our McDonald's bag out.
Yep.
We act accordingly. So to change the mindset was something totally different than just going in and building a green space.
Economy.
Yes.
It's about building our economy. And like you said, other communities, you can look at the statistics. Other communities keep their money for weeks at a time.
Yes.
In our community, our money is gone within a day.
Yes.
You know, so I appreciate people that shop with me as far as real estate, because this is
so do
Black-owned business.
Thank y'all.
I support Black businesses
Mm-hmm.
with the funds that come in from my business. So it is important. And I mean, ultimately, we talk about the children becoming land stewards, just being a good steward. And the thing about land is everything is land. We're standing on land right now. Everything is real estate. And so to be a good steward means to not only, we talk about like finances, being a good financial steward, being a good citizen, taking care of your social environment, your community,
Yes.
being a good steward of your community. But to be a steward of the land, to be self-sufficient
Yes.
in the land, to be able to tend to the land, to be able to grow what you need. I mean, grow some yams, grow some greens. You can live off of yams and greens for real if you needed to in a pinch, you know.
When everybody realized that we're all energy, so is the land.
Mm.
And so you can appreciate small, big things like the way houses are being demoed. And we talk about lead that's going into the soil.
Yes.
When we talk about energy and how the soil is depleted in spaces that have been targeted by bad practices. So if you have a house that's demoed and the contents of it go in the bottom or the basement of it, and then it gets covered over, we have to do more than just talk about lead abatement in homes, because it's in the soils. And so energy is huge when it comes down to this right here. People go and ground themselves on the soil and use energy from the ground. The ground produces, and soil compost produces our food. Those are energy sources.
Absolutely.
And if we don't have positive energy sources in those spaces that have shootings, murders, things that have been burned in our mind that has created trauma in the community, if we don't change the dynamics of the way people feel about their neighborhoods, it's not going to be easy to stop the violence, to stop people turning to their own ways to deal. So holistic lifestyle is exactly what I speak about. Changing the way we eat, the way our environments are. It's a whole total change. And that's where Wholistics, Urban Wholistics name come from. It's a W in front of holistic.
Heard that. So
to make whole, to make everything whole.
So that's my next question for the people that are listening that aren't familiar with the holistic lifestyle. What does that entail? To be holistic.
It entails a whole regimen, a lifestyle regimen of wellness. So what we put on our skin. We already outside and it's soaking up toxins from the environment. Yeah. So you have to choose and know a product formulator. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to ingesting, if we live next to all the big brand stores, we feel that we're not in a food desert. We feel that we're privileged. Those are food deserts too.
Absolutely.
There's no farms in the area. Where do your food come from?
We don't know.
Nobody knows, but they walk in the store and you feel secure that you can just grab something. You don't care. It's there. I want everybody to realize farms is the future. Farms is where you're going to find herbs. It's where you're going to find holistic living. Like you said, what does that look like? We were put in a society where farms were created outside of communities or the neighborhoods. And so we just don't jump in our cars on Sunday and say, let's go to the farm and go shopping.
Right.
We were taught to go to the stores where they get everything from warehouses. Sometimes we could go to places that are cheap where you could get 20 ears of corn for 10 cents. What do you think they paid that farmer to get that corn?
That's a good question. Pennies on the dollar?
Yes. And then you won't even know where it came from because it's just to market in a huge market for people to have, and to it's a demand for it. So nobody really goes up to the deli store and say, hey, where does this sockeye salmon come from?
Alaska. If they know. I only know that because I worked in a restaurant.
So it's those questions are not taught to be asked. So in our program, this is what I teach the children. To be aware of everything that you put in your body, because it can either wake up dormant issues or it can start issues that, yes.
Well, that's real. I think, like you said, we're disconnected from the natural world and the society that we live in today. But we're born into it.
Yes.
Kind of like the Matrix. We don't know because this is what we've been born into. But you go back 60, 70 years, it was a totally different system of food distribution. You know, so talking about holistic lifestyle, I like to say that I have a holistic focus when it comes to my lifestyle, as far as, again, what I put on my skin, what I wash my body with, and then what I put into my mouth. Now, I'm not perfect. You know, I like ice cream.
Of course.
I like my donuts sometimes.
Of course.
But, you know, being aware of what I'm putting into my body as far as chemicals, looking for products, high fructose corn syrup, no thank you. I don't want high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
Because if you can control what you put into your body, you now have more willpower to control your thoughts.
Exactly.
If you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. And if you can control your actions, you can control your outcomes in life.
Exactly.
And so it's all connected.
And that's why I was going to tell you, if you fall into the cravings of, you know, like you said, the donuts, I'm gluten free. That's the reason why I get to keep my, they said, Sonia, how you stay so thin? I can't eat I can't eat breads and all of that stuff. But now gluten free items are stepping their game up a bit.
Yeah.
But you can't wonder why you feel bad if you eat like that all the time.
Absolutely.
So the prevention is key. So when you are not feeling well, the first thing you should do is write down what you're eating every day. Write down what you're taking every day. 100%. What are you putting in your body? Absolutely. And then write down the list of things that you're putting on your skin, down to the lipstick, down to the hair products. What you put on your skin can disrupt your systems.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we can be advocates for ourselves, and we could take care of ourselves because we are putting too much pressure on the medical professionals.
Absolutely.
When it's time to go to the doctor, it should be time to go to the doctor, not for prevention.
Not for prevention.
Yes.
We're talking healthcare, not sick care.
Yes. And so your healthcare is going to come in with the lifestyle of holistic. You have to be able to create your own. I can't tell you how to live a holistic lifestyle because everybody's lifestyle is different. But I can give you the tools. You can pick up the ones that you want and create your own lifestyle of wellness. I hope that we all have that goal after seeing so many loved ones pass away
That's real.
during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we all have practices in place, even as families, in case we have water issues again, in case food become an issue. If we never imagined a pandemic, you have to be able to understand that these type of things can happen.
They can and they have.
Yes.
And history repeats itself.
It repeats itself.
Yeah.
Yes. So stay ready. And if you don't know how, find the resources in the community that help you get ready for emergency type situations, or if you don't know how to reach out to anybody for holistic tips or practices or whatever it may be, I always tell people, reach out to people like me. Reach out to your medical professionals, which is your, for example, your medical card. You could flip that over, call that number, and ask to be sent a list of medical professionals that are holistic practitioners. There's a such thing as that. So you can create your own team for wellness, your own team for food, and your own team for product. You have to be able to go to somebody for these locks.
Absolutely.
For the skin.
Yep.
And for the gut. If you have those 3 areas covered, you usually feel good.
That's real. Well, they say most illness, it starts with the stomach issues.
Starts in the gut.
Yeah.
Hippocrates said that.
I didn't know he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, that's why it's so important to be intentional about diet. So
it is.
You know, my mother. I grew up. My mom worked at General Mills for nearly 30 years, and so she brought home a lot of
Your
cereal.
Your mom is beautiful.
I love my mom. Shout out to her.
Shout out to my mom. Yes.
Yeah, she worked, but she brought home. Working at General Mills, she used to bring home crates of cereal.
Yes.
And cereal, and then milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up having eczema. I grew up having asthma.
Mm-hmm.
I still have asthma.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more seasonal.
Yeah.
Spring, summer. That's when it flares up. But what I found is that dairy makes me itch.
Mm-hmm.
I think dairy was a big it was attributed to my eczema and my asthma being severe when I was younger. So now I don't drink milk. I do eat ice cream, but I don't drink milk.
So that is a huge, milk and dairy is a huge trigger for everything you just mentioned.
Yeah.
The respiratory.
Yeah.
Your skin. I've seen eczema in people clear up once they stop dairy.
Yeah, that's real. Dairy. Now, I don't buy bread.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy bread from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then a box of donuts pops up.
Yeah.
But I don't buy bread. And so I work to avoid bread because I have a gluten allergy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not severe where it's going to hospitalize me, but it'll make me itch.
Right.
I'll be in my sleep, throat,
So when we talk about those are symptoms. Symptoms, the word from symptoms that we have to really realize is coming from that is signs. What are the signs of you having issues with what you just ate? So for example, when we eat and we get the itis, is that a symptom of what? You ate food that was low in energy. You ate food that's probably going to give you indigestion, that probably had dairy in it because you had that mac and cheese. You had everything that's considered comfort. Because they name those foods comfort foods.
Absolutely.
But when you sit there, you may lift your side up because you got a gas.
Yeah.
Your stomach hurt.
Yeah.
You have to realize what those signs mean.
The body will tell you. The body speaks. Do you listen?
It speaks. So if your foods are not local, if you're cooking them to death, and they're not vibrant, full of color and nutrients, you're eating deficient foods.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not going to a farm or a farmer's market stand, and you go into that store we talked about, they have all those beautiful rows of food lined up. It's deficient. It's been driven on a truck. The tomatoes were green to get here, red. So if they have to travel green, you have to pick them when they're not at their peak. So if they're not at their peak, they're not full of nutrients. So when we talk about where we access our foods, that's important as well. So know a farmer, and not only for your food, for your herbs, and for products. Each farm should have some sort of, I don't care if it's honey.
Yeah.
We have raw ingredients like beeswax, where your makeup and your lipsticks and your chapsticks and your hair products come from beeswax.
Yeah.
So if we don't have these spaces, we don't have access to ingredients that we can say are the best. Because if you don't know people like this, then you have to search the web. You have to hope and pray that you're getting somebody, because all of it is not regulated. Now, my farm is registered with USDA, so I am a registered farmer. So those farm numbers you see stuck on foods and stuff, so I have a farm number. Yeah. And so we're legit in our practices. I would like to have more farms and more farmers around. So the goal to raise more farmers, because if we talk about creating gardens and community gardens, because community gardens really don't last long. It's hard to sustain them.
It's cool to start. A lot of energy to start, but like it takes
the energy. They like, yay!
We're out here farming. Hey,
but when that money gone, how that energy go?
Oh.
And the people that don't like to do the work, when they watch everybody leave, guess what happened to that food?
They ride. What happened?
They come and get it.
Oh.
And if they didn't stick around to be educated on how to come and get it, they usually uproot
the whole
plants.
Yeah.
Plants be, destroyed. And so it's not the fact that community gardens aren't a great thing. It's just that there's this concept of come on, and take whatever you like, whenever you like. And there's not a system for it. Unless some of them, I'm sure there's some success, but I have not had experience with successful community gardens. I hope that we have a future full of kids that want to go into environmental jobs. They want to work with us and make sure that they keep us sustained. My goal is to get kids that are on youth city council. We have one young lady that has made it that far and is on youth city council and push urban agriculture and other things beyond the organization. Rob, I just want you to know real estate and farming goes together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everything is connected, especially within this ecosystem. Everything is connected. And so to teach the kids how to have the entrepreneurship background with farming is big, because there's not really any farmers that are nonprofits. It's not really any, because they're businesses.
Absolutely.
Farmers are businesses, and they're not broke businesses. They are thriving businesses because food is needed everywhere. So to create a nonprofit for farmers is to teach people how to go out and get those certifications that they need, or to get the education that they need. And one thing that I am proud about, this year, we will have our youth farmers certified with Youth Master Garden certifications by the time they finish our program.
Wow.
So we're going to travel with our youth to open their minds up to seeing other spaces like that, like the ones that we're creating in Lucas County, and to get our name out there, because we have livestock and we are raising really, really good eggs that are some of the best I've ever had. So it's to have this going on right in the city is something that I hope to see more of.
That's beautiful. I mean, of course, I grew up here. I've been to a lot of programs, but growing up, I've never seen anything like that. And so it's very impactful because a person can't aspire to do anything that they've never seen. Right. And so you're taking these children and exposing them to what's possible, especially if they find passion in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to say, as far as like the youth, because I love the youth. You know, when I graduated college, I went straight to teaching,
mm-hmm.
and I taught until about 2018 while I built my real estate business. If you can impact the youth, if you can touch the youth today,
mm-hmm.
you can leave your thumbprints on the future.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
And what was hard for me in the beginning, I will admit that it was hard because the vision that we were given as kids for farmers looked like this.
Mm-hmm. Overall, yeah, not like this.
And uneducated, and it was this concept to make people not want to go into this profession anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're broke, not too smart. And I asked the kids what were their thoughts about farmers. And so to have a different persona attached to what a farmer looks like, that was my goal too. Farmers are very smart. They're problem solvers. And if I ever have a need, that's where I'm going, to a farm.
They literally get it out the mud. I mean, when it comes to the land, you have a vision. You have the resource. You have the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God provides the rain. If you got it like that, you have some sprinklers. If you have the
right.
resources. But, yeah. So a farmer, you have the seeds and you got the land. What you gonna do with it?
Right.
So they have to. What else you gonna do?
And historically, you know, we like to brag on a lot of things that we're good at. Historically, this is our profession.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe there is trauma attached to that, but it doesn't have to be.
That's real. I mean, when you think about the history of our people, of course, unfortunately, we were enslaved. And even after slavery, a lot of us were sharecroppers.
Yes.
Who would use other people's land to grow food and products.
So that's why it's so important for me to teach people how to acquire land. Land is riches. And within our community, if you, for example, because I'm big on numbers, I'm big on, doing my research. And for example, for the Junction community only, from, I want to say it was the 2021 or 2022 survey that the Land Bank released for open spaces. It was approximately or over 3,000 empty lots within just the Junction community.
Yeah.
When you are in a community that lack trees, you have higher bills, you have higher rates of crime, you have higher rates of infant mortality rates, just because we are not in holistic settings. It can change a lot if we are educated, because I taught everybody my superpowers in the beginning. Look what I can do. I got bored with that quick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to sit around and talk about what I know how to do.
Right.
That was boring. I wanted everybody else to do this. So down to the product making, I taught that. I teach that. I will forever teach that. Down to education with herbs and plants. If you know properties, plant constituents, how they act and their actions, Formulating products, Rob, are endless. You can create a million products.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to find that one that's going to make you that money. I want everybody enabled to open up their kitchen cabinet and to see medicine.
Yeah. Well, food is medicine if you're doing it right. But
Mm-hmm.
against the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which
And not all Lawry's and you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
creating a space where what herb goes with that spaghetti sauce. So when you think about if you need a cheat sheet, look at some of the labels on spaghetti sauce, tomato and basil. That's what we even grow as companion plants next to
Yeah.
each other.
Wow.
So once you learn what goes together, even in nature, that's the way you will learn how to eat. So your basils is your herbs for your Italian dressings or your sauces, your oregano. Learn how to create your spaces at home, even if it's a small space or you live in an apartment. You can grow what you need in containers. You can get one big one and grow multiple things. Sonia, what do I grow? You grow what you need. So, for example, if you have hot flashes and you are in the stage of life of menopause,
Okay.
mint is a good herb to grow.
Never knew.
Well, just to let you know, men have menopause too. I'm just letting you know.
Don't tell me that.
Just letting you know. So,
no.
what does mint do? You remember when we was growing up and you see that double mint commercial and they chewing that double mint and they blow and everything? Or is that double mint? Or, I shouldn't probably say names, but
it's all good.
menthol cools you down internally.
Oh yeah.
So you're not going to go around at this stage of life that I am drinking warming spices.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
hot flashes.
Why am I burning up from the inside out? So learning what to put in your body even as we transition.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think you know yourself, you go and change every year. So that part of the education is huge too, because then you know what to grow for your family.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what you're speaking of is really it's an anatomy and physiology. It's chemistry as well. Understanding what you put in your body and how it affects it. I think it's important. People need to learn literally what to put in your body. Your body needs proteins.
Mm-hmm.
Your body needs carbohydrates. It needs minerals. It needs vitamins. It needs minerals.
Mm-hmm.
It needs some fat as well. Just you know.
And protein. When we think about grazing animals, and we talk about getting protein from meat, the protein has to come from the plant if they're.
It comes from the plant. First, look at gorillas.
So, just think about things in common sense form. If you use your common sense, because that's what we had to do when you had medicine women or men back in the day that made concoctions for you and your family.
Yes,
the only way we knew if certain things were safe to consume was by observation. So if you seen that bear eat them berries and then he fall over dead,
oh, it's a wrap. Yeah,
it's written. And then those notes became some sort of component to original medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So we have things to research. But when we talk about leaving food out of original medicine and wellness, we are kind of, skipping over things to go up into, if I can just be transparent, into pharmaceuticals. Because we can get what we get from pharmaceuticals without all of that through plants. Because original medicine is plant medicine.
Well, it's funny. You got the farm, and then you got pharmaceuticals. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. We live in a society where the food. The focus is off the food. The focus is on the medicine. You see all the ads. If you have this, by the time you have to take this medicine, you could have prevented it.
Yes, that prevention part again.
Now, everything is not, you can't prevent everything, but there are most things.
Yes.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, which.
And those are genetics. Some of them, what you just mentioned, are genetics. You don't have to accept what you think that you're going to grow into, because this is what everybody in my family has.
Well, that's the thing about that is we can say it's genetic, but if we're from a certain region of the world, and in that region they eat a certain diet, and now we're in this society, this Eurocentric society, and we're eating this Eurocentric diet.
See, now you talking. This is the type of conversation I like to have, because when we talk about our culture and our food culture, think about Mediterranean food. Healthy.
Yeah.
You get cumin seeds in it, which is essentially your black seed oil. So even the foods that are in some cultures are healing.
Yes.
But when you talk about the culture that we're taught that slaves and your sharecroppers had, we were thrown foods that were crap foods or foods that was unwanted. And we pride ourselves with making them good and edible. Times have changed to where we can create a food culture within our culture that's healthy and healing. We don't have to lose any history or what we know we did as our ancestors did to get us to this point. We don't have to, erase that, but we don't have to keep accepting that this is the way we're supposed to eat.
100%. Well, knowledge is power. And I mean, I think we do have an advantage in the time that we live, because we have access to information that they didn't have.
Right.
But it's what do we do with it? And I know, me personally, I've changed my lifestyle once I came into knowledge, once I started researching. First, it starts with knowledge of self.
Right.
If you know yourself, that's the most important knowledge. And how did I come to be? My family history and everything that's talking about holism, everything that's involved with that, all the way down to how should I be living? What's the most efficient way for me to live? Because I want to live a long life. And not only do I want to live a long life, I want my body to work.
Yes.
I want to have my sound mind when I'm in my twilight years.
Right.
Because I see people out there, you talk about like June Boyd.
Right.
June Boyd is in her 90s. And she's moving around. She's at the networking events and all of that.
You just seen Mary Wakefield with me the other day. And she pops around. Yeah. Her and Tom pops around like they're in their 50s.
I want to be like that.
So do I.
Yeah.
And so we can be. It's just that we have to be okay with making change. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't like you coming on in their kitchen, changing up recipes.
Well, hey.
Changing up traditions.
Yeah.
Because food is culture. And it's big in our culture. And so to come in that kitchen and tell Big Mama that's not healthy. I mean, these conversations have to happen maybe when it's not dinner time or holiday time, but to start with the kids.
That's it. They don't know any different. For them, it's normal.
But what I found out they do. These kids tell me all the time, I feel better when I eat.
Oh, really?
They tell me all the time. They do know the difference. That's one thing that I've learned working with kids. And so the success of my program, as soon as I say, hey, and it's 50, 60 kids, is because these kids are not only coming back to a place that has the visual wellness, but they also are getting lunches. And they're eating off the vine. And they're pulling apples and pears. Wow. And they're getting a relationship with food, nature. And it's something that always stays with kids as an adult. You grow up and you search for that feeling. It's like a chase for wellness. So either you can get your babies and you can put that sucker in their mouth and give them that sugar and have them chasing that, or you can give them something else to make the kids not only have an open mind for food, it's going to keep them well. So our choices and what we give our kids as soon as they are able to eat is important too.
You got those kids going home and teaching their parents things.
Yes. And they also come back and tell on their parents. They come back and they tell. So it's your space that we're creating, that we grow food that you're not used to seeing. Yes, we have collards, and yes, we have things that you are normally used to seeing, but we also introduce the kids to different types of foods. We taste them, each kid, every Friday after our programming. We take home enough family food for their family. So the impact has been huge with not only filling the gaps with supplying food, but opening up their minds to not only wanting to eat good food, but going home and planting a seed there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So let me ask you this, just a segue. You're from Toledo.
Yes.
Grew up here. Knowing what you know about Toledo, your experience here in Toledo, how do you feel about the state of Toledo now, and what do you see moving forward?
So I'm encouraged by House Bill 111. I was worried at first because how long can my business sustain a nonprofit? How long can I stomach watching nonprofits that are grassroots get ignored? It's huge to see Toledo, Ohio get put on the map for urban agriculture. It's huge for Lucas County to get put on the map for urban agriculture. You think I'm going to stop now? I am not. I'm going to go harder than I ever went because I have kids that's counting on me. We are in year 5 with the nonprofit. I feel that this is our turning point this year because to have the vision federally funded is what has always been the goal. I would love to run a program, and see, this program is what I call it because that's what everybody else call it, but we run a school campus outside urban agriculture school. Mm-hmm. And this whole space that we created is the campus. And so we have acquired some different lots. We're going to create a space for a lavender farm. We're going to create a space, and this will be for community. So we're going to do a herb garden for community, and we're also going to expand the program with a monarch butterfly space. So we're going to raise a few butterflies with teacher Denise and whoever else would like to help, and we're going to also get back to our beekeeping.
I love bees.
So do I.
One of my goals is to one day keep bees. One day. I'll get there.
Well, they keep us. And so if we don't get out of this,
love the bees.
It has never been one time that these bees chased us with all these plants around.
That's real. That's real.
They say you build it, they'll come. It's the same with wildlife. So if you're wondering where all the butterflies are, and you're not planting nothing, but you still spraying your lawn with chemicals because you don't want to see dandelions, but that's our bees' first food, then you are creating, you're part of the problem that's been created for years and years and years.
Yeah. So House Bill 111, has it passed, or is it still in committee, or where's it at?
Yes, it's passed. We are actually functioning off of the funding from House Bill. And it brought in $250,000 to Ohio. And so Urban Wholistics was able to bring in $139,000 from it. And so we're going to teach the kids. We're going to travel with the kids. We're going to make, yes. So I just want to let everybody know, I I didn't come up off of the nonprofit. No one that works for a nonprofit, especially a grassroots nonprofit, come up. If you don't give more than what you're making, and I mean that, it's not going to work. Especially, like I said, if it's something that's not popular. And of course, now we're like a movement. It's a movement with urban agriculture now. So the work is progressive. So this House Bill 111 is a pilot program. After we're done with this pilot program, of course, we hope that it gets larger and larger and larger and goes into an actual Senate bill. Um, if I'm saying that right, I think I've been taught right. So that's the hopes, is to continue to, we've created jobs that they're getting paid for all year around now. Our youth farmers are still coming in there working with us. We have one that's a senior this year, Miss Olivia Bridges. And so we just hope that our kids go off and make like trailblaze with holistic visions.
They will.
Yes.
I mean, you're creating leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, how can, as far as the youth program, you had a lot coming up, but the youth program, how can people get their children connected to the youth program?
The youth program is, you can sign up on our website. It's urbanholistics.org. You can sign up and be a member, and we'll reach out to you when program is starting, for everyday programming and also events. I had the privilege of working with Shalonda, and I bought a home from the Hoskins across the street from the farm, and gutted the whole house out, threw some money in it, and it is a beautiful space for inside programming now. So now we have the schools coming right across the street, right across the street. The commissioners helped us with $10,000. They helped us get a reefer box outside. Let me explain it for all the viewers what the reefer box is. Look, I had to throw some humor in there. I had to get my personality out. So a reefer box is an outside refrigeration unit for a farm. So when you're at, for example, Miami or places that have a lot of street vendors, and you see the back of semis that are the refrigeration units. Yes. So now we have one at the farm that can store a lot of produce. So we are so excited about creating a food pantry, because we supply food for Pastor Mike and Salem Church. They feed at least 300 plus people every Tuesday. And we have still been continuously dropping off food for them because we are growing in the winter. So the goal is to amp up the production so we can do more.
That's beautiful. So that's just segue really quick. You grow in the winter.
Yes.
Is it indoors or?
So we do have a hoop house that we closed off. And so science teach you that the sun heats it up. Yep. And outside it could be freezing, but the inside is still viable and growing. Stuff like lettuce. Lettuce grows well in our region. You keep it viable so you can continue to teach. Because what the whole goal is to be able not just to sustain the community, but to sustain yourself. I'm big on teaching kids how to be self-sustaining and how to make money. I'm a huge advocate.
2 things that you need if you want to be successful in life.
You have to. I don't want to see children feeling like I felt when I started business. And I wanted to, in my mind, I thought I needed this big storefront in the junction. And I kept looking for it, and I kept looking for it, and I kept looking for it. And Shalonda took me through months of patience, because I kept trying to not listen to what I thought I wanted, but I was trying to be obedient. And what I kept hearing is, You don't need a storefront. You need to continue building for a community. And that's where the house came up out of nowhere. I never knew why I got turned down for buildings that I was trying to make into a store. And it would take Shalonda to tell that story because it was just divinely, all of it just came together divinely.
That's beautiful. Well, when you're walking in your purpose, especially your God-given purpose, doors were open for you.
Yes.
Doors that you don't even look that way.
Bills will get paid that you don't even know how they got paid. And that's how I want to just tell people, that is how I want to leave people with this conversation, is to be encouraged. Whatever you're doing, if it seemed hard, continue to do it. The easy stuff is that. When you rely on a higher power when things are hard,
yes,
you have results.
Absolutely. Well, we have to experience adversity to grow. But like I said, if you're living your God-given purpose and you're walking those steps, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
But there's growth in adversity. Not only is there growth, personal growth, but there's growth in faith.
Yes.
Knowing that you have that power behind you. Building the kingdom here.
I think that's why I walk so boldly in my in any rooms. I try and show that it's a godly bold. Yeah. I'm bold because of God.
Yeah.
And even when my emails used to get ignored and my meetings that I scheduled, people wouldn't show up for them. That don't happen anymore.
Yeah. It's not.
That don't happen anymore. I sit on in very important positions within the city to help with public health, to help with gun violence, to help with urban agriculture, yes, and to create more product formulators. I am huge. So when I say product formulators, when you go in the store and you see Tony Packo's all on the shelf, it's local and they're product formulators. Even though this is a food product, it's a product. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about made in Toledo and we talk about local economics, my goal is to keep this city thriving with brands that are locally made.
Yes.
Not just by me, but by the kids. And anybody that goes through the program will be able to create their own products. Mm-hmm. I've taught many people throughout the years, and I'm so proud of their progress, that they have businesses, that they're working within their passion. And I just thank God for putting me in the position to continue.
I heard that. Well, God is intentional.
Yes.
And he put you here for a reason. And everything that he put on your mind. And
even when you can't sleep, Rob.
I'm losing life. I mean, we're very similar where this ain't a job. It's not just a business. It's a lifestyle.
It is.
It's a lifestyle. But we persist and we move. We take the good. We take the bad, the highs and the lows, and we just keep going. But it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. We still have our lows, but it still gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And keep going. And I'm here to support whatever I can do to help move forward.
You've always been a support. And I just thank you for this platform, because a lot of people don't know the difference between Sonia Organics, So Organics, and Urban Wholistics. And I just wanted to clarify, Sonia Organics is a farmer. I provide programming for Urban Wholistics, the nonprofit. And So Organics is a registered trademark for the product. So the name of the products, if you hear me say So Organics, that's what that is. I had to create So Organics with Valerie Thompson during the pandemic because my website was on fire nationally. And it got hacked. That CMOS, it helped me take care of Urban Wholistics.
Yeah.
So
you said you got hacked?
I got hacked in the worst way. I was not able to recover my website,
Oh,
and they just kept trying to turn it around and sell it to me.
that's horrible.
And
That's
so
horrible.
I had to change the name of the product, which terrified me because I built this strong brand that everybody knew. And I said, if I had to change to something else, it's going to hurt me. Of course, it took a while to get So Organics, to where people were saying that name as well. But when I realized that I can do business as and not drop Sonia Organics,
Yeah.
it was just a no-brainer. So, protect your business, protect your brand. Um, that is something that I really need to suggest, because if I didn't have people that were educated on what I needed to do when that happened, I could have lost basically my whole identity with the business.
Wow. Well, you've learned and you've grown,
Yes.
and from it, so much has been born.
Yes.
Yeah, so much has been birthed, and you'll continue.
I'm glad. And I hope to leave it to the kids that I'm teaching.
How many children have you had come through your programs?
So the last time we did some numbers, it was close to 500.
You got good odds of that happening.
Yeah.
You got some great odds.
Yeah, it was close to that. So since we're like operating yearly and we're going into year 6, every year is close to 100 kids that sign up. Um, the kids that come to the program and actually stay in the program is close to about probably half of that, 50, 60, I would say. And it's so fun. It's so encouraging to see them come back every year. This year they'll come back and we won't be so broke.
What age group?
We'll be able to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And so that was also my issue. I had an issue with excluding ages.
Yes.
Because all kids have to eat.
Yes.
And the smaller kids that I taught picked up quicker than the adults. And the teens, because they were really, really into it and wasn't. Yes. So if you want to bring your babies out, I tell people, come with them. Bring the babies. We grow yellow raspberries, stuff that kids never have eaten before. So it's like an experience for the whole family. So I try to keep the program as far as product formulation and learning how to do that to ages 10 to 17.
Okay.
For older adults, this year I will open up the program for families and adults that are interested in learning farming as well.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Okay.
Not just the kids. It's people now that understand the need, and so they are reaching out in large numbers like, hey, can we come to the program as well?
I think we live in a time where people are realizing we need to get more independent.
Yes.
We can't be reliant on the system. We can't be relying on the stores, because inflation is a thing, but I feel like inflation has been aggressive within the past few years. And so people still have to start to get more independent. There are certain things that we can do for ourselves and keep money in our pockets. So, yeah.
And not only keep money in your pocket, when I go out there and I've been down, that's a squat.
Oh, you working out?
When I chop, it's healthy all the way around.
Oh, yeah. Activity.
It's a holistic lifestyle. So you are going to get that workout in. You are going to get the return on your investment with food and herbs. But then you have people that say, what am I supposed to do with this? Then that's when they come to classes with us. And they learn how to make that basil into a vinaigrette. Or they learn how to,
that's nice.
So
nice.
it's a whole complete program for families.
That's nice.
So my goal is, and I think you're the first person I'm telling this to, my goal is to make an urban farmer's toolkit. and I want to market it worldwide because we have neighborhoods in every city and every state that has food insecurity
Yes.
or that has open spaces with no plan. Even if it's not a garden or a space that's registered with USDA, it can be a place for a tree. How to create spaces like this within your community is what I want to market from my business to teach others how to do this.
I think you've created models.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing on models. They work,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that for you. You're going to continue to create and trailblaze and create models
I'm excited.
that will be picked up across the country.
This year, here's another good thing. We will have ADA accessibility within our space. We will have ADA accessible raised beds.
Wow.
So I have always
Wow.
had issues
Wow.
with turning anybody away, and so now I won't have to.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, but the fact that you know that's a need, that's something I wouldn't even think of. But in farming, if you're in a wheelchair.
So think about our demographics, because we have senior centers. We're surrounded by senior centers where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
They need to shop too. And when I talk to the seniors about their senior coupons, I didn't have an ADA accessible space, so we went to the senior centers. And when we went to the senior centers and we were intentional about talking to them, they can't buy bulks of collards and kale and live in an assistant facility. They need cottage foods like ready-made salads.
Yes, that makes sense.
So how do you adjust for the need of the community?
Yeah.
And so every year when I think I have it figured out, you have to adjust and you have to change for the need. And so we're going to try and make sure that everybody around us have access to foods. If they can't prepare it, we're going to try our best to have it prepared for them. We are actively dropping off food to our surrounding partners. And I wish I had the information off the top of my head for you as far as weight for the year and how much food we've given away, but it's a astronomical amount. One of our partners that buy a lot of our food is Toll House. So we're sitting in Toll House right now, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful arrangement that we have because they are, Will and Angela is big on not only local food, but supporting local entrepreneurs.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
A lot of food.
When you order food, you get a salad here at Toll House?
Yes. Even right now, like this smoothie is full of spinach.
Yeah. So that's your spinach?
So it comes from our farm.
That's
yes.
Beautiful. I did not know that.
And if certain things we don't have, it comes from our partners. So even if you look at our space and you say, they're not producing a lot, we have beautiful partners that allow us to bring in produce so we can fill in gaps. Because we are in a city, we only have a certain amount of space to grow. So our partners, shout out to our partners, Shared Legacy Farms and Bob's Garden. A lot of our partners that really make sure that we have what we need.
You have a very vast network.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you just keep doing what you're doing. You got anything else for the people they should be aware of?
I have a speaker series coming up here at Toll House soon. Our keep a lookout for the date for that. I can't think of the date off the top of my head, but look for the dates for the speaker series for all of the founding members for Toll House that's coming up. And we do have programming that's coming up in the spring. And in February, we are at Scott High School for the seed swap. So if you are looking for seeds or education for your upcoming spring gardens, make sure you go to Toledo Grows event that we are vendors at this year. and everything in there is free. So
Toledo Grows event?
yes, it's called a seed swap. They do it every year, and it's at Scott High School.
Really? Okay.
And if you're not able to make that event, reach out to us directly, and we will get you whatever you need to start your gardens.
Seed swap at Scott. Do we have a date for that?
That's in February too.
Okay.
I should have had.
We'll look it up.
Yes, but it's a huge event, and it allows you to get the seeds that you need to start your garden. And it's local farmers and local organizations like this.
Advantage.
Yeah.
You know, people kill me when they say, "Oh, there's nothing going on in Toledo. There's no resources here, no opportunities here." It's like, no, that's you. It's just you.
It's a lot going on, and I try and stay humble with it. But I hope that our kids this year, with House Bill 111, my curriculum was integrated with Ohio State Extension, Central State Extension, and 4-H, and so look forward to having partners from So the higher learning institutions partner with now, and so I'm hoping that you see our kids at the Lucas County Fair with our chickens and our show animals, because it's time that you see people of color and farmers from Lucas County that are able to get into spaces like that because we're doing the work. We're excited about that.
I've never been to a fair, and I can imagine that a lot of us have not.
Exactly.
So please let me know, because I'll pull up in some overalls just to represent.
That's the whole goal.
Yeah.
It's a space for us as well.
Yeah.
So I remember my mom growing up talking about 4-H, was something that they were all included in.
Yeah.
And speaking of my mom, shout out to my mom. She taught me most of the things that I know about holistic living. She started me in classes when I was really young with Miss Bassett. She used to give classes on Saturdays. And instead of me being at the mall or at Petrie's at Westgate, I was at Miss Bassett's up the street. And so she taught me how to grow wheatgrass, and we used wheatgrass for my mom for years until she detoxed from cancer that gave her 6 months to live. So I actually saw the power of plants with my own mother and with health practitioners here. So when we talk about health food stores, because I know she's missed by me, Miss Bassett is missed. When you look for spaces that used to be fixtures here for resources, look for those resources at farms, because she slapped me on the wrist before she passed, and she told me to be okay with the media and people wanting to know more about this work. It's not just for you. People need the education. And so I had to get out of because a lot of people don't realize it, I don't really like this big old light or the cameras that come. None of us really do, because it seems, I don't want the spotlight on me, but it's okay to shine a spotlight on me if it's going to produce results for the community.
That's it.
So I'm okay with it. And she taught me it's okay to be a light. And so the people that taught me in my past, the people that pushed me off into this profession, I pay homage. And I have had this in my blood since I've been born. My family comes from Shreveport, and we have medicine women in our family, and we have farmers, and so to have a mom that retired from the metro parks and that put us into holistic settings instead of finding a babysitter or I was always in nature. And I knew when I drove out to the botanical gardens how I felt. And I also knew when I rode back to 558 Wabash on the corner of Wabash and City Park, it's where I was born, I knew what I felt like when I returned home. And it was a horrible feeling. And so I want the kids to understand that we have the power to change our surroundings. So to empower them to get up and do it, that's the whole goal of Sonia Organics and Urban Wholistics.
You're a blessing. We're blessed in Northwest Ohio to have you.
Thank you.
And you are a pillar in your work.
Thank you.
You've touched thousands of people and many, many, many thousands more.
Yes.
God willing.
Yes.
I appreciate you for coming today and jumping on the cusp, because you embody that. You are on the cusp of what you're doing as far as community health, as far as educating the youth, putting the youth in position to do things that none of us seen growing up. That's what it's about. That's what this is about.
I really appreciate you having me, and anytime you need us, or you need you have clients that are in need of gardens, you reach out to the kids.
Okay, we'll do.
Reach out to the kids. I'm going to make sure that we have more services available from the kids for the community as well. I want to extend services to our elders. And so there's a lot of goals. And so to reach these goals, we just have to continue to keep doing the work.
Absolutely. Well, if you have the kids, they not only do they need things to do, they like doing things.
They do.
They like doing things. So, empower them.
And they love good food.
Yeah.
Kids love good food. They are honest, and they will tell you when it's not good. And so even if you ask them about school, they'll tell you. Like, they know what makes them feel good. So when you listen to kids, you have to. What
the Bible say, from the mouth of babes.
When you listen to kids, you have to provide.
Absolutely.
You have to provide. And so we're going to lose a generation of kids if we don't listen to them. And I invite the kids to my table all the time. I'm not afraid of youth. You get people, older people that's afraid of the youth. I need, bring them all to me. Bring all the babies to me. Bring all the babies to me.
Because they need to see positive reflections. They need to be able to see themselves in people like myself, like you. Provide a vision into their future for themselves. So, yeah.
Yes. And I'm just really, really excited for this year. So I'll keep in touch with you for anything that's going on. And I hope to see you coming to the farmer's market stand and shopping with the kids, because they will shock you with what they know.
I'm coming. Just let me know.
They will shock you.
I'll come.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to talk to the kids too.
Well, next time. So maybe we can talk about that. There are some things that I want to talk to you about with the kids and some programming.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yes.
I'm here for leadership, entrepreneurship, all of that. I'm here for it.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
We out.